the things I'm talking, not the yeah. Try what you not do if you're not the fair. My mind they tell me to disappear, yeah. So come and help me, cause I don't pray, my man, I don't pray. Come on, man, I can't stay for one place, for God's sake, my day. Don't take my fear away from you. They are talking shit, what them no getting in me. See you for what's in it. I put up my eyes, 10 shots, I ride, just good. I cry, offshore, but my dreadlocks. Believe me, I don't pray, Mohammed, I don't pray. Come on, babe, I can't stand for one place. Go say my babe, come and teach me. Only you can feel my best. Give me vitamins, we're gonna take these pains away. So take my
Good morning, good morning. How's everybody feeling today? So we're at day 3. We had a great, so far, has this been a good convention? Pennsylvania Democrats, has this been a good convention? We are so excited to be here today. Look, we've heard from folks from all over the country during this convention. We've heard from, and last night, we heard an incredible message from so many folks. I was, like many of you, moved by hearing the second gentleman's remarks and excited when Doug Emhoff becomes the first gentleman of the United States for the first time. We heard from the Obamas. Michelle Obama, Barack Obama probably gave 2 of the greatest convention speeches that we're going to hear. And once again, and we did the roll call and had folks from all over the country stand up in their own way and talk about and make it really clear that America, the Democrats across the country, are united by the Harris-Walz ticket. And how about a big shout out for Malcolm Kenyatta, who spoke yesterday, our own Malcolm Kenyatta, and the rock star of PA, Mayor Dewan Walker, for what he did yesterday. Great job, Mayor Walker. So listen, we've heard from folks from around the country. Today we're going to start off by hearing some of our hometown leadership right here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We're going to hear from none other than a guy who has been fighting for folks for a long time. He has been making sure that education is funded in Pennsylvania. He has been making sure that we move money for violence prevention. He has been making sure that all the grants for the things in my district get taken care of. He has been standing up against the extremism of MAGA Republicans who serve in our chamber and all the things they do. He's been working with our House majority to make things happen. He is none other than the son of Pittsburgh and the Democratic leader in the Pennsylvania Senate, my friend, my colleague, the Honorable Leader Jay Costa.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Let's start off that excitement we saw last night. Let's keep it rolling into this morning and today and then tonight again. Thank you, Senator Street, for the opportunity to say a few words. And I want to say one thing before we go any further. How about a round of applause for our chairman, Senator Street and his team, Micah, Mitch Cates, Emmett, all the guys of the Democratic Party for the work that they've been doing over the course of the past many months, leading us here today, and the work that's being done to make certain that we all have an opportunity to be part of this exciting times. Folks, let me tell you, I hail from Western Pennsylvania, Allegheny County. I represent the city of Pittsburgh. And I can tell you, the energy that we saw last evening and Monday night here in the building at the Convention Center, and what we saw every day over the course of the past several weeks, I can say firsthand the number of people who have been engaged in our opportunities that we have here in the Pennsylvania Senate, which I'll talk about in a few moments. But the excitement, the energy, the enthusiasm is through the roof. But what's most important is we know we've got to make sure we maintain it. We're having great excitement, as I mentioned, energy over the course of the last couple of days, and it'll continue through Thursday. But when we leave here Friday morning, we know that we've got work to do. Our excitement's not going to carry us through. What we need is renewed energy, and that's what we have right now. When Vice President Harris took the helm at the top of the ticket, it was important to many of our races across Pennsylvania. I can tell you the work that we're doing in Harrisburg requires all of us to be certain that we work together and we take the time to be able to understand what needs to be done. Each of you are here today as part of this delegation. We need to recognize that the role we play in this process, certainly from the top of the ticket, but most importantly on down to the legislative races in our community. We are here, you are all the collective representatives in our government for the people in your neighborhoods and your communities. And it's imperative that we all work together to ensure that we're making sure that our neighbors on both sides of our homes, everyone in our block, every block in our community, and every area in our region that we represent, that we make certain we do the things that need to be done. Otherwise, the excitement we have now and the energy we have won't carry us through to the fall. So we got to sustain it and maintain it as we go forward. Because we know what's at stake. As was said yesterday by President Obama, we don't need a sequel because we know how all the sequels of Donald Trump turned out. And we need to know what's also taking place not only in Pennsylvania with our Republican colleagues that are trying to set us back, particularly in the area of voting and election law. Look at what's going on in Georgia, where they just created a whole commission, empowered the Board of Elections to be able to make decisions and withhold certifications. That's purposeful, to be able to make certain that they are able to take and challenge the opportunities like they did 4 years ago. And we look what's going on in Arizona, where they're trying to deny 40-some thousand folks who have registered the opportunity to be able to vote. Those are the type of things that we need to combat each day in Harrisburg and across this country. But that's what's at stake here, to be able to make certain that we preserve democracy and we take steps to ensure that we're going to go forward and fight like hell to be able to bring this ticket home. I do want to share with you what's going on in Harrisburg just very briefly. We in the Senate Democratic Caucus have an outstanding group of folks who are here today, certainly led by Senator Street. You're going to hear from my good friend and my colleague, Senator Hughes, but Senator Sanacero's here, Senator John Kane. I may be missing somebody, maybe here, but we are excited about where we're at and where we're headed. We are on the verge. We're on the verge of capturing the majority in the Senate for the first time since 1994. And we're going to be able to do it. And here's why we're going to be able to do it, because it starts with our candidates. Representative Nick Piscatano is here, and Representative Patty Kim, who many of you know, outstanding candidates who are going to join us from the House to the Senate. But also up in Erie, Jim Wirtz, a county chair, former county chair, and in Allegheny County, Nicole Rascido, who's going to flip a seat in Allegheny County. Our excitement is great, and we have the opportunity to be able to do there. And I can tell you what we've seen firsthand, in the polling that we've been doing, both pre-Vice President Harris getting in a race and also post. Each of those areas that we've been polling in, Democrats and particularly Vice President have done very, very well. It's energized us at the local level. It energized us at the state level, and that's why we're going to be successful. Because what does it mean when we have a Senate Democratic majority? It gives us the trifecta to be able to work with Governor Shapiro. The House Democrats, led by Speaker McClinton, Leader Bradford, and Chairman Harris, have sent more than 400 bills to the state Senate. 400 bills have come over from the House to the Senate. Think about that for a little bit. And let me tell you what they're about. It's about the issues that are important to people, not only in Pennsylvania, but across this country. And we've heard over the course of the past couple days, protecting reproductive rights, protecting health care, making sure that we protect the workplace and allow people to be able to work safely, things like public sector OSHA, things like making sure we're maintaining prevailing wage and off-site development of projects and the like. It's about making investment in mental health programs, but at the school level, but also at the community level as well. It's about economic development. All these measures, we're not able to get through the Senate because Senate Republicans won't advance them. When we take the majority in January, I will tell you, it will be the busiest January in the history of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania in the state Senate, because we're going to take all those bills and we're going to move them across the finish line. That's what we need to be able to do. That's what we will be doing. But it's important. We need all of you to be able to do that. We can't do it alone. Everyone in this room has an obligation and responsibility to make certain we do all we can, because this is our time. This is the moment at the federal level and at the state level we have the opportunity to be successful. With all the support from all of you and the commitment that you all can make to us, we would greatly appreciate your support going forward. So thank you very much. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention one person here today. One person here today who's part of the reason why I'm standing here as our Democratic leader in the Senate. And that is my good friend, the longest serving person who served in the state committee, also I think on her 12th or 13th Democratic National Convention, one of my mentors from my home community next door to me in Wilkins Township, Angie G. Loretto. How about a round of applause for Angie? Thank you. And Senator Street, thank you and your team for the great work that you've been doing. I look forward to seeing all of you. Now you're going to get an exciting speaker to come up here, my good friend and my colleague, Senator Vincent Hughes. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Before we bring up Senator Hughes, who I think is not quite here, we got a special treat, folks. You're right here? I'm gonna get you up in 1 second, my friend. I'm glad you're here though, I appreciate it. That's my appropriations chair, my big brother, but right now, folks, we're bringing him up. But listen, right now we're going to hear from a man who's no stranger to us, a guy we've seen on TV arguing and fighting in behalf of our rights, a guy who not only represents his constituents in Maryland, but has fought for people across the country. I'm pleased to introduce to some and present to others the Congressman Jamie Raskin.
Hey, good morning, you fine Pennsylvania Democrats. Forgive me, I'm losing my voice a little bit here. You know, this whole week is like one of probably the most joyful political experience of my life. It's also like an exercise in sleep deprivation too. So, but I got to rise and shine with the PA Democrats. You know, it's an honor to get to address your delegation, which is so central to the fortunes of our party and the fortunes of the country. You know, I was thinking about it. If we didn't have an electoral college, you know, every vote would count equally all over the country, and we'd be everywhere. And so the system is a little strange, and I do think, hey, it's 2024. How about it's time we start electing the president the way we elect governors, representatives, senators, mayors? Whoever gets the most votes wins, you know. But look, we'll take care of that. We're coming to that, and we're gonna just have to deal with the rules, obviously, the way that they're structured today, and that means basically Pennsylvania and Michigan, Arizona and Nevada are just right at the center of the battle, and with Gettysburg. Anybody from Gettysburg here? So. Well, Gettysburg, of course, means that Pennsylvania's always been at the center of the battle, just like Philadelphia and Constitution Hall. And I love what Pennsylvania stands for. I'm from Maryland, the neighboring state, and when I was a little kid, I always wanted my parents to take me up to the battlefield at Gettysburg, because so much at the heart of American history. But today I want to tell you guys, I'm very proud to be a Democrat, all right? I've traveled to 24 states. I'm very proud to be a Democrat. I'm proud because of the record we've got to run on. I sat there for 4 years under Donald Trump. We had infrastructure week, we had infrastructure month, we had infrastructure lunch. We just never had an infrastructure bill. When Joe Biden got elected, we got that bill in the first week in his office. We passed a $1.2 trillion investment in the roads and the bridges and the highways, the ports, the airports, the infrastructure of the country. And I know how important that's been in Maryland. And I know how important it is to the people of Pennsylvania. And the Democrats did that. In the Inflation Reduction Act, we not only reduced inflation to the lowest of the G7 or G8. I can't remember if we kicked out Russia yet, but the lowest of the G7 countries, I think. We also dramatically lowered prescription drug costs in America. I had constituents who were paying $600 a month for insulin shots as diabetics. We reduced it to $35 a month. Democrats did that without a single Republican vote. We did that. And the $2,000 annual out-of-pocket cap on your prescription drugs, the Democrats did that. So we've got an extraordinary record to be running on. Joe Biden is one of the most successful presidents in American history. The kid from Scranton. But I got to tell you, my fellow Dems, I'm proud also to be a Democrat because of who they are. And I work with them every day. Every day I'm in there with them. You noticed recently Louisiana adopted a law endorsing the 10 Commandments and putting the 10 Commandments up in public school classrooms throughout their state. And I had my right-wing colleagues coming in and saying, well, now it's time for the House of Representatives to endorse the 10 Commandments, put them up across the country. I said, gee, the 10 Commandments were doing fine for millennia without an endorsement by the Freedom Caucus in the U.S. House of Representatives. We don't need to be endorsing religious texts in violation of the Establishment Clause. No, they said the 10 Commandments are the foundation of the Bill of Rights. Really, I said, let's look at the first commandment. Thou shalt have no other God before me. Now let's look at the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, nor prohibiting the free exercise thereof. they insisted. They said, no, this is a very important statement. Louisiana's done it. We've got to do it. So we went to the Rules Committee. They wanted to put it on the floor of the House. I said, you know what? If we're going to vote on the 10 Commandments on the floor of the U.S. House of Representatives, then we should have to vote on each commandment separately, all right? Not get away with that omnibus package, and you can't vote for any commandment you've ever violated either, because you'll be taking the name of the Lord in vain, violating the third commandment while you're voting on the 10 Commandments. They said I was making a mockery of the whole thing. I said, no, you're making a mockery of the whole thing. Your bill's not only unconstitutional, it's blasphemous at the same time. Okay? One of my colleagues gets up on the floor of the House, he says, the moral downfall of America was in 1962 in Engel versus Vitale when the Supreme Court banned prayer in the public schools. And I got up and I said, you know what? Supreme Court never banned prayer in the public schools. As long as there are pop math quizzes, there will be prayer in the public schools, okay? Anybody can pray whenever he or she wants to pray. It's just the government cannot compose a script in your local town and compel your children to vote, to participate in a prayer that a bureaucrat has written. That's the First Amendment. I'm proud to be in the party that stands up for the Constitution and the Bill of Rights in America. I'm proud to be part of the party that understands the Constitution. You know, 90% of the American people support a universal violent criminal background check on all gun purchases. And they say, well, you know, every time we have a massacre, and we have them, you know, I think it's about 1.5 or 2 massacres per day, defined as 4 people shot when the former President Trump was shot in Pennsylvania. That was just one of 3 mass shootings that day. It wasn't even the worst. The worst was in Birmingham, Alabama, several hours later that night when 4 people were killed. 1 person was killed in Pennsylvania. 4 people were killed and 10 people were wounded. Well, what happens when we experience a massacre like that? Well, the Democrats get up and we say, this is intolerable, this is insufferable, we must act, we must pass a universal violent criminal background check. And what do we get from the other side? You know what we get? T and P. They've reduced it to 2 letters, thoughts and prayers. And then they go on to the real business of the day, trying to pass billions of dollars of tax cuts for the richest people in the country. And when I engage them on it, I say, how is it possible you can do nothing when gun violence is the #1 cause of children's death? It's the leading cause of death for Americans under the age of 18 years old. How can you do nothing? And they say, well, the Second Amendment gives the people the right to overthrow the government. And because the Second Amendment gives the people the right to overthrow the government, we have to have an arsenal equal to that of the government, including assault weapons, AR-15s, whatever the government's got, the people have to have in terms of an arsenal. And I say, really? Where does it say that we have the only constitution on earth where the people have a right to take up arms against the government and overthrow the government? Certainly not in the Second Amendment. You know what the Second Amendment says? A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. What is it in well-regulated militia that tells you that civilians have the right, an 18-year-old kid has the right to go and buy an AR-15 so he can show up in somebody's classroom or a Walmart or a church or a synagogue and mow everybody down? Second Amendment doesn't say anything about that. And in fact, I can find you a half-dozen mentions in other parts of the Constitution which make it perfectly clear you don't have a right to engage in revolutionary insurrection against the government. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 15 says, Congress shall have the power to call forth the militias of the states in order to repel invasions and suppress insurrections. Suppress insurrections. How is it possible, they argue that right there in explicit text, the government has the power to suppress insurrections, but in invisible ink, the Second Amendment gives them a right to attack the government of the United States. Doesn't make any sense. The Treason Clause defines treason as raising arms, levying arms against the government, right? The Republican Guarantee Clause says Congress shall guarantee the people of the states a Republican form of government. Not a Republican Party form of government, okay? A representative government, and shall assist them in suppressing domestic insurrection and maintaining domestic peace. Here's just my favorite one. Don't ever forget this. Despite what all of the kangaroo court justices that Trump put on the court want you to do. Section 3 of the 14th Amendment says anyone who has sworn an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States, who violates the oath by engaging in insurrection or rebellion, shall never be allowed to hold federal or state office again. So you're telling me that the Constitution actually bans you from ever holding office if you engage in insurrection, but you've got a right to engage in insurrection. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. And when I tell them this, all they say is two things. One, well, Patrick Henry said, live free or die, which was, a great bumper sticker in the 18th century. Patrick Henry was an anti-federalist who voted against the Constitution. So why should we turn to him for an interpretation of the Constitution he voted against? That's like, what did Robert E. Lee think about the 14th Amendment, right? It doesn't make any sense. Then they say, well, what about the Declaration of Independence, when in the course of human events, the government turns tyrannical, you can take up arms against the government? Yes, under natural law. They weren't citing British constitutional law or the Magna Carta. So if you think you're living under a government that's tyrannical, if you think that the 2020 presidential election, which was the most secure presidential election in American history, is akin to King George and Parliament's violation of the rights of the people, yes, by all means, come on over here and take up arms against us, against me and my friend Officer Harry Dunn. Come and beat the daylights out of our police officers. If you think you can do it, try to overthrow the election. But if we catch you, if we stop you, if through the courage of our officers we put down your insurrection, you're going to jail. Like Stuart Rhodes, the Yale Law School graduate head of the Oath Keepers, you're going to jail for 18 years for seditious conspiracy, which means conspiracy to overthrow the government. You know how many of those convictions, hundreds of those convictions, have been overturned because of your right to overthrow the government? None of them have. None of them have been overturned. So I have the honor of introducing a true patriot. He's my constituent in Maryland. He's somebody who stood strong against the Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers. He stood strong against the Ku Klux Klan. He stood strong and fought those people, just like Michael Fanone did, who had a heart attack, just like Officer Hodges, who got caught in the doorway and had mace and chemicals sprayed in his face, and when they finally dislodged him, they washed the chemicals out. He went back into the fight, and Officer Harry Dunn never gave up. Not for 1 minute did he give up, and we Democrats, we're never going to give up. Go Pennsylvania. I'll see you in a few weeks. Officer Harry Dunn.
Wow. Good morning. Oh, standing ovation after breakfast. That's impressive. So, thank you so much. Wow, I'm honored to be here standing before you all now. Everybody here, we saw Barack Obama's speech last night. So I guess I can leave now because he stole my speech. Like, that was literally my speech and he took it from me. I'll ask this question. Does anybody in this room not know who I am? You know me, okay? All right, hold on. All right, I'll tell you where I'm going with that question. I wish every person in this room did not know who I was. The reason why y'all know who I am is because of one of the darkest days in American history and one of the worst days of my life. Everybody knows who I am now. I served as a police officer for over 15 years. I'm gonna be like a teacher, shh, hush, hush. Because I'm paying attention to y'all conversation. I could talk loud though. Everybody knows who I am because of one of the darkest days of my life that I wish never happened, but it did happen. And how are we defined in this country? By how we respond to things, how we respond to adversity, to trials, to tribulations. On January 6th, me and my co-workers that Congressman Jamie Raskin just named and gave all the credit to that they deserve, we did our jobs as police officers. But January 7th, until today, right now, we do this work because we love this country. We're patriots, not the people who beat police officers with flags. Well, I just had a quick thought. Speaking against to Pennsylvania, elected officials, the delegation, people that are, the last time I had that opportunity, I got booed on the House floor in Pennsylvania. I got booed. Y'all ever know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking? The crazy thing was, it was my presence that made them upset. I didn't even speak. I just showed up and they just booed and walked off the floor in protest. I took it cool, like, wow. It takes you back a moment, but then you're like, all right, y'all walk out, because that's what y'all do. Y'all walk away. Y'all get an attitude, you pout, but y'all don't fight. Y'all don't fight for people. They don't care about other people. Republicans don't care about anybody but themselves. Democrats care about people. Before January 6th, I was just a police officer who, through seeing all kinds of demonstrations, anybody that came up to the Capitol to air their grievances with the government peacefully, I had to listen to them. Just listen to what they were complaining about, what they were upset about. They just wanted to be heard. They just wanted to be seen. Republicans don't listen to people. Democrats care about people. Republicans care about themselves. That's why Donald Trump only cares about himself. Barack Obama had a line last night. Democrats spend all time thinking about how they can help people. Donald Trump has never asked himself that question. How can I help myself? And that's why it's so important. That's why I'm here right now. I entered this political arena, this speaking out phase of my life that I'm doing right now, because it is the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. Too many people don't meet that moment, don't do what they know it's right. I begged co-workers of mine, I begged the FOP, I begged members of Congress to speak out against what happened to us. I met with Kevin McCarthy after January 6th, and I begged him, please tell your members, your caucus, that what we went through was horrible, and the people talking about it wasn't bad, it was a tourist visit. Condemn them. What are you doing? Well, this was his answer. I'd lie to you not. I'm not in control of my caucus. BS. Actually, I don't know if it's BS. That's why he's unemployed right now. That's right, Kevin McCarthy. Step aside, let Democrats handle it, because we know what to do. We're unified. Up and down the ballot, it's not just important just to make sure that Pennsylvania goes to Kamala Harris. Up and down the ballot, local legislatures, school boards, these Republicans are trying anything to infiltrate, I would say, democracy. They're trying to infiltrate democracy because they don't believe in it. Y'all remember at the arena, at the United Center, it's so ironic to me that I see Fox News, their little broadcast booth. It says Fox News, and then in the middle of it, Democracy 24. What? This is the same network, when we testified before the January 6th committee, called us crisis actors. They gave us superlatives, crying, emotional, best emotional performance before a committee hearing. We have been mocked nonstop by the Republican Party. And only a few people in the Republican Party, so few that we know all of the members of the Republican Party who stood up against Donald Trump. Isn't it a shame, all the Republicans that make up this world, and we could probably name every single one that stood up against Donald Trump? Why can we name them? Because they were ousted, they were kicked out, they don't belong, because what? They didn't, the phrase is bend the knee, kiss the ring, weren't loyal to Donald Trump. The hell with Donald Trump. One of the reasons that I spoke out from the start is because I wanted any and everyone responsible for their actions in the failures of January 6th held accountable. I've been fighting for accountability. Accountability serves two purposes. One, the people who are aggrieved, they feel some type of closure, some type of resolution to what they went through. That's one point of accountability. And the second is a deterrent to keep it from happening again. Accountability has not been served at the highest level, Donald Trump. Watch this. I ran for Congress. I lost my primary May the 14th. It's okay, whatever. I ran to fight against Donald Trump, to stop MAGA, to stand up, to fight for people, as I did on January 6th and the years before. But losing my primary, it sucked. But, thank you. It sucked, but that wasn't the biggest gut punch of the year. Hey. That's good, right? I got there. It was pretty good. I wish I had a gavel. I'd be like, order. That wasn't the biggest gut punch of this year. The biggest gut punch to me was when the Supreme Court, boo, when the Supreme Court said that Donald Trump cannot be held accountable for his actions on January 6th. You talk about a gut punch. That hurt, because for the last 3, almost 4 years, I have been fighting for just that, accountability for Donald Trump for January 6th. The Supreme Court failed us. They failed me, they failed you all, they failed every American that believes in accountability, that believes in the rule of law. They failed us. An institution failed us. The U.S. Senate, they failed us when they failed to hold Donald Trump accountable when they impeached him. They failed us. These institutions are doing a lot of failing us right now. However, there's one more opportunity where we can get accountability against Donald Trump, and that's November the 5th. November 5th, we must elect Kamala Harris. We must elect her as the next president of the United States. And that's why I'm so happy to be here right now, because that's what I'm doing. I'm going around the country and making sure everybody knows the importance, what's at stake. So I ask you all, Pennsylvania, I love the opportunity of preaching to the choir, because you all get it. Y'all know how important it is. But there are a lot of people who don't. So y'all make sure y'all get out there, stay motivated, stay energized. It's easy to be energized and motivated right now. This is an electrifying week. But when we go home to our states, our districts, our counties, 2 weeks from now, this energy may not be here. It's up to us to make sure we sustain that and we make sure people are engaged. So please keep it up, Pennsylvania. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak to y'all, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Democrats standing up for democracy. Let's give a hand. Let's stand up for him the way he stood up for us on January 6th. And we're on November 5th, we're going to give him the accountability that the Republicans wouldn't give him before. We're going to bring up Commissioner Jamila Winder. Come on up, Commissioner.
Thank you, Senator Street. Good morning, Pennsylvania. How are you? So I'm not as tall as Officer Dunn, but let's give him another round of applause. So listen, I am honored to be here with the PA State Delegation. My name is Jamila Winder, and I am proud to chair the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners. It's an honor to be here, not just as a delegate, but most importantly, can we quiet the room? Can we quiet the room? Thank you. It's an honor to be here, not just as a delegate, but most importantly, as a wife, a mother, a neighbor, a colleague, and a friend, and most importantly, as a Democrat. Today, as we witness Kamala Harris rise to new heights, I'm reminded of two incredible women in my life who I lost 5 months ago, my mother and my grandmother. They were the epitome of strength, grace, and resilience. I was fortunate that they witnessed me make history last year when I became the first Black woman to be elected to serve the third largest county in Pennsylvania. And I know they would have been deeply moved by the moment that we're in today. My grandmother and mother would have been so proud to witness this. A moment where women are not just participating, we are leading the way. This election is particularly significant for Montgomery County and the broader Southeast in Pennsylvania, where women like Mayor Sherelle Parker, Diane Marsiglia from Bucks County, Marion Moskowitz from Chester County, and Dr. Monica Taylor from Delaware County are making history in their own right. Their leadership reflects the strength and vision that women bring to our communities, and it's a privilege to be among them. As women across the nation and the world continue to break barriers, I can't help but think about how much my mother and grandmother would have loved to see this day. Their legacy is present in every step forward we take, and their spirit is with me as we celebrate the progress women are making. Kamala Harris's journey is more than just a personal triumph. It represents the collective strength and determination of all women. We are standing on the shoulders of incredible women who came before us. And together, we are shaping a future that truly honors their memory. Montgomery County plays a critical role in this election. And as we move forward, let's remember that our work here is part of a larger movement. A movement that my grandmother and mother would have cherished. A movement that lifts up every woman, every person, as we forge a brighter and more inclusive future. And so let's make my grandmother, mother, and all of our ancestors proud as we make history by electing the first woman of color to the highest office of the land in November. Thank you.
Democrats are not only turning the red counties blue as we do it, we're empowering women across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and on November 5th, we're going to empower them across America. So now we have another first. We have the president of the Delaware County Council, and she's the first person of color to lead it, a county that for over 200 years had been Republican, and we flipped it blue and turned it all blue. And so next, I present to some of the others, Dr. Monica Taylor.
Good morning, Pennsylvania Democrats. Thank you, Chairman Street, for your leadership and for all that you do for the party. I am honored to stand before you today, not just as the chair of Delaware County Council, but as a fellow Pennsylvanian who knows the power of this delegation. We are the Commonwealth that turns the tide. We are the ones who will make history again. We made history in Delaware County when we were elected to council in 2019. We flipped Delaware County from red to blue for the first time since the Civil War. And I was the first person of color to be elected to Delaware County Council. And we've continued to make history ever since. In the last 4 years, we have taken on the governor's GSD mindset, and we've created the first countywide health department in the Commonwealth since 1989. We've deprivatized the county prison, improved our county infrastructure, and expanded parks, trails, and green space all across Delaware County. We were able to make these massive strides because we have worked together with every level of government to drastically bring change to Delaware County. Now, Delco didn't flip overnight. It took years, decades even, of people working to connect with Democrats and build the party from the ground up. Together, they were able to lay the path for us to walk on and win in 2019. Together is how we get it done. Now let's talk about what's at stake. This November, we're not just voting in another election. We're voting for the soul of our nation. We're voting for the future our children will inherit. And most importantly, we're voting for a leader who embodies the values of justice, equity, and opportunity for all. That leader is Vice President Kamala Harris. But let me be clear, Kamala Harris and the entire Democratic ticket need us to step up like never before. We need to energize every voter in every corner of the Commonwealth. From the cities of Philadelphia and Pittsburgh to the small towns and rural communities that stretch from Erie to the Poconos. We need to knock on every door, make every call, and send every text message. Because we know that when Pennsylvanians show up, America wins. We've done this before, Pennsylvania. We turned out in record numbers in 2020. And we showed the world that when we fight together, we win together. And now we must do it again. We must deliver Pennsylvania for Kamala Harris and the entire Democratic ticket. We must show up for our values, for our communities, and for the future we want to see. So I ask you today, are you ready to roll up your sleeves and get to work? Are you ready to remind every voter that their voice matters? That their vote is their power? That when we come together, we can overcome anything. Let's get out there and make history once again. Let's show the nation what Pennsylvania is made of. Let's win this election for Kamala Harris and for every Democrat up and down the ballot. Thank you, and let's get to work.
All right, y'all. So after our next speaker, we're going to close out the PA Dems breakfast, but don't go nowhere, because Senator Casey in this very room has got another program going on, starting immediately. As a matter of fact, we're already holding them up. But listen, the next speaker I have to bring up is always the closer for us. Now, he's a guy who's been fighting. He is the OG of Democratic senators. He's been fighting for us for a long time. He's a guy who fought to make sure that we funded education, and even when we were in the minority in both chambers, made sure that we had the votes to stop the Republicans from cutting education, and that they had to put more money in it, or we would sustain vetoes and negotiate the deals to get us more money. He was the guy who fought to bring our violence prevention dollars from a measly $15 million a year statewide to over $300 million a year statewide, something that's brought down crime across the Commonwealth. He is a guy that has worked to make sure we protect our environment. He's a guy who's my big brother. He is the Democratic chair of the Pennsylvania Senate, and guess what? He's the chair of the Democratic Senate Campaign Committee, and with his support, when he gets us at least 3 more Democratic Senate seats, yes, we flip the House, yes, we have the governor's race, and when he leads us there, Senator Costa, he's going to make sure we have the votes to make you the president pro tem, the chairman of the Democratic Senate Campaign Committee, Senator Vincent Hughes.
All right, Democrats. All right, Pennsylvania. I don't care what they say. All roads to victory go through Pennsylvania. Make sure that they know when you get on the floor tonight, all of you that got credentials and all of you trying to get credentials, make sure that everybody understands that all roads to the White House go down 76. Go through 78. Go through 80. Give me a road, Jay Costa. Give me a road. 78. Give me a road. Somebody where's DeJuan Walker? Give me a road, DeJuan Walker and Aliquippa. 81. Give me a road. They all go through Pennsylvania. Come on, family. We know what time it is. It's winning time. All right, because you know, it is not just when we fight we win, it is when we vote we win. So say it after me. When we vote, we win. When we vote, we win. When we vote, we win. That's why we're in this to win this. We're not in this to watch Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and their weird, strange way of looking at life and people. We're not in this to let them win. We're in this to win. Because when we fight, we win. When we vote, we win. And when we win, what happens? Women win. And when women win, children win. And when women and children win, families win. And when families win, neighborhoods win. And when neighborhoods win, communities win. And everything goes through this process of making a difference in everyone's lives. Look at the talent that's been in front of us today. Jamie Raskin, give him a round of applause. Weren't we proud of him and all of the work that he did when he worked to impeach Donald Trump? Not once, 2 times. Think about that. On your record, 2 times. Twice impeached. Twice impeached. 34 count convicted. And he's at it again. But we're going to be clear about this. We'll send him back to Mar-a-Lago or whatever penitentiary he's going to wind himself in, all right? Yeah, I said it. I hope the cameras got it, okay? I said it. Whatever, Cliff Levine, you're going to send him to somebody's penitentiary. I know you are, Cliff, all right? We're going to send him because that's where he deserves. You saw Brother Dunn stand right up here, physically defending our democracy. Physically defending our democracy. And you saw the crisis that he went through and all of his fellow colleagues trying to defend us and defend democracy because it was on the line. Where it's back at it again. But what we know is this, and what the spirit is this, and I think you're seeing this all across Chicago. And Chicago's been a wonderful experience so far. Give Chicago a round of applause. We got to win, family. We can't win just by a little bit. We got to win in big margins. We got to win in really big margins. All right, we got to win in margins, though, so that even if they think about trying to snatch the victory from us, it will be impossible to do. But we've got to win in big margins, not just at the top of the ticket. We've got to win in big margins at every level. We got to make sure Bob Casey goes back to the United States Senate. I mean, it's ridiculous. He's running against a guy from Connecticut. It's ridiculous. I don't understand this, all right? We got to make sure Bob Casey goes back to the United States Senate. We got to make sure that all of our congresspeople get reelected by large margins. We got to make sure that we improve the majority in the State House of Representatives, all right? That's what we got to do. And the final business that was spoken to earlier today, we got to make sure we flip the Senate in Pennsylvania. We want a trifecta in Pennsylvania. We can make that happen in Pennsylvania. Go up to Erie, Pennsylvania. Help out Jimmy Wirtz, one of your stalwart leaders in the Democratic Party up there. Flip that seat up there in Erie. It is possible to do. Go out to Allegheny County. Get Nick moved up from the House of Representatives to the Senate. Get a teacher, Jerry Jordan, Art Steinberg, a teacher in the Pennsylvania Senate. You know I like teachers. You know I like me some teachers, all right? Abbott Elementary, your favorite TV show. All right, there we go. Get us a teacher in the Pennsylvania Senate and go to Harrisburg and get Patty Kim elected. Get Patty Kim elected in Harrisburg to the state Senate. The first Asian American woman that ever served in the Pennsylvania Senate will be Patty Kim. We can do this, Pennsylvania. This is real, Pennsylvania. This is in our power, Pennsylvania. So understand this. All roads to transforming people's lives for the better go through Pennsylvania. You want to raise the minimum wage nationally? Make it happen by winning in Pennsylvania. You want child care for everybody? Make sure it happens in Pennsylvania. You want health care for everybody? Make sure it happens in Pennsylvania. Let's do what we do, Pennsylvania. Let's win. Let's win, Pennsylvania. Let's win, Pennsylvania. Are we going to win? Are we going to win? Are we going to win, Pennsylvania? We're not bringing home no losers. I don't want to look Michelle Obama in the face and say, oh, Michelle, I'm sorry, we didn't win that. I'm afraid of Michelle, okay? All right? I ain't worried about Barack. We can handle him, but I'm afraid of Michelle. All right? So let's get this done, family. Because in the end, and I'm going to wrap up here, Mr. Chairman, and Sharice Street and his team, Brother Cates and everybody, they're doing a fantastic job. Give them a round of applause, please. Like I said earlier, when we win, when we're victorious, all of us are winners. No matter whether you're red or blue, no matter what neighborhood you're from, no matter what your situation will be. When we win, we all win. And it all happens in Pennsylvania!
So this officially concludes the Pennsylvania Democratic Breakfast, and now they're going to start another program. But Chairman Jason Salas, happy birthday to you. From here to there, if you're an OG Mac or a wannabe player, you see the hood's been good to me ever since I was a lowercase G, but now I'm a big G. The girls see I got the money, $100 bills, y'all. If you were from where I'm from, then you would know that I gotta get mine in a big black truck. You can get yours in a